How's it going today, Loyalists? My name is Dwayne. We're Dwayne N Jazz. Today we have for you Ghost Rider versus Spawn, Marvel versus Image Comics. That.
Wait,
Ghost Rider versus Spawn.
Image Comics.
They'll explain. If you guys have any reaction requests, please follow our social medias in the link in the description. Don't forget to
subscribe.
Let's dive on in.
The Spirit of Vengeance versus the Dark Angel of Armageddon.
Both men afflicted by basically Satan.
We got a Spawn figurine on our wall.
Yeah.
Johnny Blaze has always been a man possessed, chasing the thrill of certain death by performing death-defying stunts, following the example of his adoptive father, Crash Simpson. Until the day Crash lived up to his name
and Crash.
Heartbroken and without enough Wampa fruit to save him, Johnny turned to the only thing that could: chemotherapy. To cure Crash's cancer, Johnny sold his soul to Mephisto, king of the 8th layer of hell, only for Crash to actually live up to his name right after. But scooping up Johnny's soul, Mephisto had something else in mind. He bound Johnny to an instrument of divine wrath, Zarathos, the spirit of vengeance. So Johnny Blaze lived up to his name in person.
I hope we see Ghost Rider in Secret Wars.
Why are you laughing?
You know why I'm laughing. Yes. Yes.
He called himself the Daredevil. Sorry, Johnny, that name's taken. Okay, then how about the Ghost Rider?
Much better.
That's better.
Definitely didn't forget that we named the character the same thing only 5 years earlier. All you. The Ghost Rider was bad news for Earth sinners and scumbags.
6'2", they always gotta be tall, huh?
Yeah.
Skyscrapers, blow up mountains, and cause earthquakes that can be felt across whole countries. Don't even think about fighting back. He can remake his whole body from the hellfire that engulfs him.
Bad.
Ridiculous.
Physical damage. Only holy weapons that target his soul can harm him. It's not just his body. His arsenal is hellfire.
I didn't know he had a game, and it looked kind of fire. So I did there? Okay, alright.
A shotgun packed with fiery rounds, or a flaming missile barked right out of his mouth. Life goals. And he can imbue other objects with hellfire, such as his Hell Cycle.
Yes, that's what I love.
His bike can outpace Thor's hammer Mjolnir, which can cross the universe in seconds. Hellfire is a weapon in and of itself, whether shot out of his hands, raining down from the sky, or released from his... his boner, Wiz. Get it? And it doesn't just scorch flesh. Hellfire is so deadly, it can burn away your very soul.
Oh, I didn't know he could do that.
Mastered by Johnny's
I knew that.
His own brother, Danny Ketch. Oh yeah, Johnny's not the only Ghost Rider.
Yep.
And Danny was the first to master their most famous move. You know, the one that burns your soul
to my eyes
with just a look. The penance stare. The penance stare inflicts upon its victims every ounce of pain they ever wreaked upon others. Every cruelty, no matter how small or righteous, is reflected back. A biblical punishment. Obliterating your soul. It even works on other Ghost Riders. Like when Johnny and Danny got into a staring contest and Danny actually depowered Johnny. Eyes are windows to the soul, so the Ghost Rider must be able to match his victim's gaze for the penance stare to work. Some people have survived it, like the Punisher supposedly because he did regret his actions. But
he said, I regret nothing, I did that.
Well, Johnny
I'd do it again.
What?
Doesn't necessarily have to kill you. He can use the stare to
I'm gonna do it again.
force you to confess info, or just show you the error of your ways. Remember, the Ghost Rider is 2 souls in 1 body, with the kinder Johnny battling the demon Zarathos in a war of control. Classic Faustian bargain. All the power in the world, but if you want it, it uses you. Because if Johnny gives in, the demon's full might will take over, and then everything is screwed. Zarathos' strength is boundless. He can open up portals between dimensions, control the elements, penance stare an entire city, and fly all the way to Asgard, which is a literal infinite distance away. He's manhandled some of Marvel's heaviest hitters, like Thor, World War Hulk, and Dr. Dr. Strange. Hell, Strange said Zarathos is a threat to all realms, mortal and immortal. Hyperbole? Think again. The Archangel Zadkiel said that the power of the Ghost Rider could threaten all of existence, and even bring down heaven itself. Or an army of Ghost Riders did just that. Yeah, an army. The spirits of vengeance are legion. As far back as the Great Flood, humans have been bonded to the vestiges of God's power.
That looks terrifying.
I know.
Wrath on Earth. A sort of heavenly black ops. Okay, wait, does that make Zarathos an angel now? Or still a demon? Both? Neither? Despite being one of the greatest entities in existence, it's unclear. What we do know is that ages ago, Zarathos feasted on souls and battled Mephisto for rulership of his realm. Mephisto, ever the trickster, claimed victory and gained control of Zarathos forevermore, hence having to bond him to Johnny. But Zarathos got his revenge against that big red bitch with another Ghost Rider, Alejandra Jones. Bet you wish you had one more day to fix that hole in your chest, huh? Fan punching bag though he may be, Mephisto is unbelievably powerful. A battle with him.
You know what? It's pissing. Pause. I gotta pause real quick. It's pissing me off because remember when we was talking about WandaVision? They should have just introduced Mephisto. That would have been such a good. Oh, I'm so sorry. I just had to pause. I'm sorry.
It was just
I'm sorry. I'm sorry.
That's it. There's just edginess.
Okay.
With like
and then bringing in
from
Ralph Boner. All right. Anyway, got back on it. I'm sorry.
Armageddon, fitting as his fight with Galactus rents the cosmos asunder. And Galactus' fights can destroy.
I can't wait for this in the Fantastic Four. It's gonna be fire.
Power at Zarathos' disposal. Total cosmic annihilation. So it was no surprise when Johnny went down to the underworld and took Hell's throne for himself.
What?
The devil that ruined his life and finally grabbing destiny by
I don't even think I would want to be the king of hell.
Total power of hell itself. Plus
I guess if you can control it, you don't have to be scared of it.
Which skips the whole every pain you've ever inflicted thing and just sends you straight to hell. No shame. As they say though, uneasy lies the head that wears the crown. Johnny began an obsessive crusade to capture all of Hell's escaped demons. But by using his new power to damn them to hell, he began absorbing their evil, feeding off of it, and it corrupted him. Once again, Johnny Blaze was a man possessed. In truth, Johnny was just as trapped by Hell's power as he'd always been, and he needed Danny's help to pull him out of the darkness. Though he gave up Hell's throne, the Ghost Rider continues his war against demons without and within, mentoring his fellow Ghost Riders in the ways of vengeance, always prowling the highways for the evil and the profane. An unstoppable engine of judgment that, with just a glance, could make Galactus himself shit his pants. Maybe one day he'll find salvation in the eyes of one of his victims. If they sure as hell won't find any in his.
Badass. Spawn!
If Al Simmons was one thing,
they need to remake Spawn.
A killer. A lieutenant colonel in the U.S. Army and the CIA's most decorated assassin, Simmons upheld democracy.
I think he's perfect for the role too. He actually does like these martial arts, like
he did his own stunts.
Yeah.
Until
he actually studied these moves.
When, per his boss's orders, Al was fired. The burning was only getting started because Al's immortal soul was on a one-way trip to hell, where he cut a deal with Malvosia, the big, naked lord of the 8th circle of hell. By their pact, Simmons would be reborn a Hellspawn, a superpowered commander of Hell's armies, in exchange for seeing his wife one more time. Oh, buddy, you're just asking to get monkey's blood. Al Simmons returned from the dead as a decaying zombie 5 years later, after his wife had already remarried and had a daughter.
5 years later, I forgot about that.
Man, saw that she had a baby too.
Was born the undead warrior from hell itself, Spawn. He's so 90s that he comes all the way back around to being the coolest thing ever. Look upon his edge wizard and despair. Spawn would violently defend New York's downtrodden while slowly uncovering the full breadth of his demonic powers. He's like a walking superpower encyclopedia. He can fly, teleport, turn invisible and intangible, move things with his mind,
just real cool.
Fields, control the elements and the weather, and even stop time. Speaking of time, he can fly so fast, he literally breaks penetrates into other dimensions and smashes time as a concept. He can manipulate matter, shape-shifting his own body or transmuting other objects and people. He can even control and absorb your soul. Wiz, if he can rearrange molecules in crap, why doesn't he just fix his uggo face? Well, he tried to do that,
but it didn't work.
Cursed him so that he could only make himself
more.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Trolling like that.
What?
And you know what's
What? Hey, yo!
You know what's crazy about it? Is that he noticed that he turned into white man Square handsome Squidward, and he said, "I'd rather be a zombie, walk around this earth, than to be turned."
No, that's like Brit, like old timey British
That's what I'm
white
saying.
man.
He
That's
was like, he said, "You gonna take away my melanin?
He
Are
looked
you
like
insane?"
a Charles the Fourth.
And then he was like,
Speckle,
"No."
speckle on mom's baked beans.
He was like, "I don't think so."
Oh God! All right, I'm sorry. I just didn't know that. All right, my bad. All right,
Oh my God.
Oh my God.
To be fair, Spawn can achieve a similar result with illusions and mental manipulation. He can read and control minds, implant and replace memories, or simply drive you mad. Spawn can do all this crazy shit because he runs on Necroplasm. Basically, hell juice. You're not wrong. Necroplasm is the energy that makes up hell itself. Al's undead body is composed of 400 pounds of it. He can wield it like an energy blaster empowered by the sins of others. Spawn can absorb your evil and feed off of it. By simply walking on Earth, Spawn
I think
feels
Spawn's
all
gonna win
of
this fight.
humanity's pain
He
all
can
at
absorb
once. He's
evil.
even absorbed the sins of 8 million New Yorkers instantly, cleansing them of their evil. Like Jesus? Or he can do the reverse and make you experience the full weight of your own sins, feeling every bit of pain you've ever inflicted on others over your whole life.
Just like those writing, you know?
Some sort of penance. Though Spawn's necroplasm comes with a catch. Yeah, he's got a limited amount of the stuff, and it
How does every hero got a game that I'm not aware of?
He's dragged back to hell.
Oh wow.
Spawn can rely on his elite military training and hand-to-hand combat. He's even fought Batman to a standstill. And as befits his past profession, he loves his big-ass 90s guns. Though his greatest weapon is the sentient being he's genetically and spiritually bonded to, his cloak. Letha of the 7th House of K. You ever wonder why his cape's red? Nope, well, now you are, and it's red because it's made from the apple Eve ate in the Garden of Eden.
Wow.
Wow.
Made of original sin. Though it
Temptation.
the souls of a million sinners, including every one of Hell's victims, also a touch of vampire for good measure. K7 Letha is constantly evolving. It can act independently to defend Spawn with an infinite stream of chains, transform into weapons, or drain people of their power. It is the most potent weapon Hell has ever created. It even helps Spawn beat the primordial dark god Urizen, who can destroy and eat your soul with just a glare. Except the souls bonded to Spawn acted as a buffer, allowing him to survive. You'd think with an arsenal like that, he'd be unstoppable. But Hellspawns have a weakness to holy weapons and can't be killed permanently if decapitated by one. Though Spawn has managed to survive this in the past. No, Spawn's greatest weakness is his own... how do I put this? Stupidity. So Spawn fought this angel lady, Angela. Great name for an angel.
Right.
She had this dimensional lance that could wipe Hellspawn out of existence, and Spawn got it. But instead of, being cautious around a mysterious angel weapon that hurts him, he just had to push the big shiny button and activate it on himself.
Oh my God.
Spawn was forever destroyed until he reconfigured reality to undo his own inexistence.
What?
Here we are, good as new.
Yo.
Yeah, he might win.
We've seen
Spawn might win.
accidentally kill themselves and survive. On his quest as Hell's greatest warrior, Spawn has defeated a serial killer ice cream man, a demonic clown.
Oh yeah.
His old boss remade by Heaven into an anti-Spawn. He's even encountered other Hellspawn. Killing bad guys might seem counterintuitive if you work for a Hell Lord, but it actually just adds more souls to Malvosia's army. An army Spawn would have to lead in a war with Heaven that'd kill all of humanity. Because the reason Malvosia chose Al to be his commander wasn't that he was some great warrior. It was because Al had proven that he was the best at taking orders. All his life and all his death, Al was nothing more than a hired gun. But he knew it, and he would do so.
He said, "I'ma still do the job."
No more.
Marched down to hell and ripped Malvosia's head off with a scream so loud it echoed through all of reality. Spawn became proclaimed the king of the 8th circle of hell. King Spawn is literally a part of hell itself. Gaining access to an unlimited pool of energy that increases 100-fold with every heartbeat. He's effectively omnipotent in there, and strong enough to challenge other hell lords like Mammon and Satan. He got so strong, the only thing left was to finally resolve the war between heaven and hell. But Spawn needed help from the being who created this god and Satan to begin with, the mother of existence, Gaia. She wasn't cool with her kids being total assholes, so she appointed Spawn to be the universe's savior. By eating the fruit from the tree of life, Spawn became truly divine.
What? He did so much.
God
this is
and
crazy.
Satan in a stalemate for eternity that extinguished all life on Earth. And each of them are powerful enough to create and control infinitely sized universes. Spawn broke the stalemate by letting God and Satan destroy him, only for Gaia to separate the two from the reality they threatened. Then, just like that time with the lance, Spawn respawned and recreated the Earth. Whew, good as new. Finally freed of the weight of heaven and hell, Al asked to be reborn as a human. But he knew in his heart he deserved to carry on his undead penance in perpetuity. He's a creature of the 90s, Wiz. He won't be happy unless he can instantly brood over the injustice of his own existence. Though if you threaten the alley he calls home, beware.
Yeah, well, it was
Spawn will turn
Spawn
whatever's
movie
left
was
of your
fire.
life
It was.
into a living hell.
Okay, who do you have?
Alright, the combatants are...
I'm gonna go with Ghost Rider, but Spawn looked OP.
Spawn looking like he's gonna win.
Yeah.
Hell of a death battle!
Let's go. Spawn's done some crazy things in this comic.
I know.
Jesus Christ.
I mean, so has Ghost Rider, but
Yeah, but like Spawn.
Drive me insane. Brimstone in the air. Something's coming.
Dark and brooding.
Wants a piece of me. There'll be hell to pay.
I like his voice.
Akira slide.
Go back to the pit you squirmed from, Hell Spawn.
Oh. He said, make me do it. And who gonna stop me?
I ain't gonna lie.
It's nothing personal. Vengeance calls.
They both got guns.
You hear the music too?
Yeah.
Fight like a foe.
You've earned your damnation.
Uh-oh.
Hear the screams and stuff. Oh, that's yo. Come on, man. They can't be giving Spawn badass stuff like that, bro. They took him down with him.
I know.
He's gonna check.
But he's omnipotent
Yeah.
in hell.
Yeah.
I was about to say omnipotent.
Zarathos!
I'll be damned.
Yes, you
You
will.
sound like Venom when you said that.
Yeah. Heaven Spawn.
Right.
The vestments of the holy cannot disguise your wickedness. God forbid.
They are boxing, bro.
I know.
I like how it's like clouds and stuff when he's fighting
Yeah.
right behind him.
It's like that's the heaven side versus
Yes.
like hell.
Yes. Oh no.
Ooh.
All sinners, your sins are innumerable. I am here to wreak vengeance upon your soul. I eat sin for breakfast.
You're right. He said, I devour that.
Goddamn medicine.
Yeah, because he powered down one time when Danny
Yeah.
got to him.
Wait, I'm innocent.
Oh my God.
Ooh.
It's like you said, nothing personal, asshole.
See? Alright, new Spawn's gonna win. He eats up sin.
Damn! Literally.
Right.
He said you gonna reflect it back to me. I eat that for breakfast.
Ghost Rider's immeasurable power against Spawn's skill and versatility. Let's break this down into
Okay,
four.
please do.
First up, power. Divine Spawn could match God and Satan.
Yes.
Great universes.
Oh.
Similar in scale to
OP.
Ghost Rider's bounce with a lot of the powerhouses in Marvel.
But Zarathos was different. Remember, his power can match that of Mephisto and Galactus, who can threaten all of Marvel's infinite cosmic reality, far greater than any cosmos Spawn has ever affected. Even though Spawn's battled and defeated Satan in more recent comics, implying he's retained a level of power similar to his divine form, he couldn't match Zarathos in power alone.
Ghost Rider may take power, but remember, Johnny actively resists Zarathos' influence.
Exactly.
So Spawn may have had time in the fight to learn and adapt to Ghost Rider before he went full blue fury.
And Spawn definitely had the edge in skill.
Yeah, he's a.
Decades in military combat and is a
Yeah.
master martial artist, whereas Johnny more so relies on his invincibility.
The ultimate dream power for a stuntman. Even
Yep.
with his crazy powers, Ghost Rider was a lot more direct than Spawn, pretty much entirely focused on attacking the soul.
Which doesn't bode well for his versatility. Spawn can stop time, manipulate matter, turn intangible,
Get a whole
control
bunch of
life,
stuff.
or reality. The Ghost Rider had a much more limited arsenal by comparison. Spawn had a huge advantage in this category.
So with his invincibility way greater
see
power
Deadpool?
and the ability to scorch your soul to nothing, Ghost Rider could score the win through brute force, right?
Not exactly. The last piece of the puzzle is their resistance.
Yeah.
Who was harder to kill? Spawn's constant mainlining of humanity's collective sin and pain meant he could survive attacks on his soul, including the penance stare, just like he resisted a very similar attack from Urizen.
Best of all, remember the time he rewrote reality to undo his
To
own
make him come back
There
anyway.
was nothing the Ghost Rider could do to overpower that. And that time with the lance wasn't planned, it was purely instinctual. He could replicate it any time he wanted, like in his fight with God and Satan.
So how do you put Spawn down for good? Well, you can't. At least Johnny and Zarathos couldn't.
Unlike how Ghost Rider's soul has been vulnerable to attack before, like when Danny used the penance stare to depower Johnny.
This sort of thing actually happens a lot, even in recent comics. The whole reason Johnny and Zarathos are bonded in the first place is because Zarathos'
Is
soul was
placed on him.
manipulated by Mephisto.
Yeah.
And not only does Spawn have plenty of experience manipulating souls, he can replicate the effect of the penance stare itself.
Just think about that. A penance stare on Zarathos would mean he's feeling the pain from every penance stare that he's ever done. A penance squared.
The damnation stare, on the other hand, actively helped Spawn, sending him to hell where he gets a literal infinite power boost.
And it wasn't just Spawn's soul powers that had spelled trouble. He had other ways to bypass Ghost Rider's immortality too, like transmutation, rewriting reality, or just straight up
Rewriting reality is
power,
not for me.
which has
Ridiculous.
worked on multiple Ghost Riders in the past.
Giving Spawn the final edge. Zarathos was almost unbeatable, a massive power
He's just
advantage,
more versatile.
soul destruction,
Yeah.
immortality, but Spawn could counter everything thrown at him, and was too unkillable for Zarathos' strength advantage to matter in the long run against his crazier abilities.
That was one hell of a fight, and at least Johnny went out in a blaze of glory.
The winner is Spawn.
Okay, I was looking at that like.
Yeah, it's like of course Spawn will win. Oh,
Oh my
who
god.
they putting? Oh, Mojito versus
Subscribe
Yeah,
to
Shigaraki.
Remember to see more
Yeah, I
Death
mean they
Note.
cut the same cloth.
Yeah, they got
I
they
mean,
got the whole mouth thing going
They
on.
both got the
hand over the mouth.
same color hair. They're both pretty much
Yeah.
I mean,
I
they'll
mean,
do
for
the
real,
same
that's gonna
thing.
be a good. That's gonna
Same
be a good
archetype.
one. My Hero versus Jujutsu Kaisen. Okay, but basically, because they didn't really explain the
Image comics,
Image
yeah.
comics. It's
Let's
the same.
explain that.
Essentially, it's the same thing as Static Shock. Static
Okay.
Shock is Milestone's comic,
Yeah.
but they do come in and write and color and all that
they
stuff.
went initially to DC,
DC,
right?
yeah, like a partnership.
Okay.
Same thing with Image Line. I think it was the I forgot his name right now. Can't remember it, but basically helped out with like doing different like drawings and storyboarding and all that good stuff for other comics. I think like DC and Marvel. I actually think he was supposed to be in the new Invincible. Spawn was. but something happened. I don't know, you know how legal things get, but I think he was actually in the comics during the Invincible War. Shout out to the people that watch Invincible.
Oh, that's
so he was
cool.
supposed to be in there. It's a panel in there with the Invincible comic where Spawn was there and he was fighting the Marks, I guess, and you know how they do crossovers, slight Easter eggs, whatever. But yeah, that's the cool thing. So basically that's the same thing that essentially happens here with Spawn. So their own comic line, but they collab with Marvel and all that.
You know what made me get into Spawn?
What?
Actually,
it was
it was actually an episode of Powerpuff Girls. There was an episode of Powerpuff Girls where they didn't want to be the Powerpuff Girls as heroes, and they were like looked up to different heroes that they were reading in comics and stuff. And so then they had an episode where they dressed up like those heroes. So Blossom became like a Wonder Woman. She was a tall Wonder Woman. They just changed the names. Bubbles like some bunny from like an anime manga. And then Buttercup, which was my favorite growing up, she turned into something that wasn't called Spawn, but it was basically looking like Spawn. And my dad saw it, and then he was like, is she supposed to be Spawn? I said, who's Spawn? And then that's how I got into it, because she was like dark and brooding.
Yeah.
And I was like, and I was like, what is this? And so then that's what made me want to like look into it. And I was like, oh, Spawn is kind of cool. I see why she chose Spawn. So it was cool.
Yeah, that's dope. That's dope. First of all, your dad like, ain't that Spawn?
He said, that's Spawn. He said, yeah, that's Spawn.
Did he show you the movie after that?
Yeah. He was like, they had a movie and everything. He a hero. Da, da, da. I was like, oh.
Yeah, Spawn. The Spawn movie was very 90s looking back at it, but I wasn't supposed to watching that as a kid. I was not supposed to be. But I was watching it anyway.
I was watching Powerpuff Girls and Disney. That's what I was growing up with. I had to watch everything else later.
All the darkness. Anyway, guys, comment below. That's what you think.
Don't forget to like and share. This is